Hello everyone, it's the Social Club. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has become the only player in history to basically set the internet on fire twice, signing for the same club in the space of like, what, 2 years or a year and a bit. He's rejoined Manchester United, stay out some full-time Devils. Happy, excited, erect?
No, I'm summed up, but I think he's got... I hope he doesn't come in and affect this speedy rhythm that we've seemed to have developed since he left with Lukaku. I hope, like Lukaku's never had a Champions League season. He's never had a season where he needs to be the main man for 55, 60 games a season. He's always, league and cup with Everton. All due respect, that's about as far as he's getting, isn't it? So I think that this constant game, if he's playing week in, week out, the way he plays the game as well, which is all action, that could really wear him out by the end of the season. So I think by Christmas time, if Zlatan's fit and ready to go by then, I hope he's available to come in and help manage Lukaku. I'd love to see them play together just once, just let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But I hope that he's used when, do you know what? It's the 5th, 6th group game. We've got the Champions League group sewn up. Zlatan, you play. We've got Spurs or Chelsea or something at the weekend. Lukaku, you're going to be needed in that. So I hope that he's managed and not just like going to try and squeeze them in together.
I had this little thing about looking at United's squad and looking how they've lined up so far this season, and I thought, this is all great, but if you took Lukaku back out of that team, you're then putting, okay, look, Rashford's great and Martial I think's great as well. So you've got guys who can go in there and do a job, but not the same way. And then I thought they're really lacking someone else who's just another. And then it was Zlatan was back. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. But you're a huge Zlatan Ibrahimovic fan. You predicted this, didn't you? You basically said this was going to happen.
I predicted he'd sign for Man United about 3 years ago, so I knew he'd go back because it was clear, wasn't it, with the injury and stuff. He was obviously working at Man United and stuff every day, and I think he still wants the challenge. That's the point. I think he's everyone wrote him off, said he could never play in England. He proved last year he could. I think he just wants to prove that he can do it again, and now he's in the Champions League. I think he wants to prove he's got a little bit left in him, and I think he has to adjust. He has to know what his role is. But I do actually think there'll be a time this season when you'll need Zlatan, when Lukaku isn't doing it, and there might just be a different way of... Because there will be teams now that are set up, look at way Man United play and try and sit deep. And I think
Leicester did it really well.
But they did, didn't they? And they're a really good outball, and Vardy as well, to just keep the pressure on. And I think there'll be times where Man United will be up against it and we'll need someone like Zlatan just to play a different way. Yeah. And that's what football's all about. It's about variety. Yeah. You need different styles.
And there's nothing, it is a thing as well, having someone of that calibre, it was the same last year, but just having someone like that in and around Man United, he's an inspiration, isn't he? And equally, Fellaini gets a lot of stick, but he's an effective solution to what he's meant to be. But still, who would you rather be chucking on with 15 minutes to go? Fellaini up front again, or Zlatan while you've got Lukaku on there? The
way Mourinho uses Fellaini, he might bring it on Fellaini. Yeah. So I don't know. I do understand the use of Fellaini, but I think Zlatan offers that something different, and I actually think he's going to be more vital as a player with experience of winning stuff, because he's won stuff, especially titles, every single place that he's been. And United, if anything, we've allowed that to drain out of the club. If you look at the last title win, wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things, but virtually everyone apart from Michael Carrick and David De Gea are now gone. That whole squad has gone, and that was winners. And you're talking multiple winners, Giggs and Scholes, Wayne Rooney, players like this that have won it for a long time, consistent winners. And that's been replaced by potential in the likes of Rashford and Lukaku and Martial, but these aren't players that have got experience of winning things, and I think that's invaluable at times. And I think if Zlatan's, the right game to... I think Rio Ferdinand mentioned it at the weekend. Sometimes you need... When he first got to the club, he said, I didn't know when to push and I didn't know when to hold. And sometimes there might be a game that you like, just relax. And Zlatan's experience in that circumstance could be huge for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just think you look around the Premier League and you look at the squads, and I think often teams do fall into that trap of relying too much on a player. And whilst there isn't clearly a direct replacement for Lukaku there, again, I just don't see how it can possibly be a bad thing. The only thing maybe being, as you kind of alluded to at the top, is Will Zlatan, the Zlatan character, ego, exactly, will he allow himself to be that bit popular? Because if he does, that's incredible. Because I think you do need that at certain clubs. You need, having that guy who's been there and done it and is top quality, but doesn't have to play every week or doesn't have to play 90 minutes every week. Having someone who can do that for you is it really kind of rounds your squad out perfectly. That could make Man United a real danger.
The other side of it is he's not going to be back till January, really, is he? But, you know...
Well, according to his Instagram...
Look at what he's been kicking the bag, the way he's been kicking the bag. You don't do that if you've got a bit of a twinge, do you?
I'm sure I heard last week he wouldn't be involved in the Champions League.
There was talk of, like, December, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think that... So, when he comes in, it'll be interesting because it'll be interesting when he games he got, but it might be part of a bigger plan. He might go and want to play in America. Now, he plays 4 months in the Premier League, and then that leads into half a season in America, then that's perfect, isn't it, for him as an individual? And he'll get the second half of the season, he'll get the business end, and I think he'll have a role. And there might be times when he comes on, he might play in a different position, like you said earlier, about maybe dropping deeper and being the link player, and you've still got those players in front of you, but he can play those clever passes that get Lukaku in or gets Rashford out wide.
Imagine if he plays them both up front. What an absolute nightmare that is for a centre-half.
Yeah.
That's just old-fashioned centre-forward play, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Big man formation, yeah.
But it's big man, fast man, though, isn't it?
It's like the genuine world-class version of Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips, isn't it? Like,
it harks back to 99, isn't it? Sheringham and having Cole and having Dwight York and having all these different options and being able to
options is the one.
Being able to attack teams different ways. That sort of drifted out of football recently.
Yeah.
So
that's the advent of the one up front. The one up front has killed partnerships. I love fat partners. I was raised on partnerships.
Yeah.
It was all about partnerships, and I'd love to see that.
I blame divorce culture. That's what it's
my mum and dad were bad ones, like so.
Yeah. No, but it's right because you look at those the greatest strike partnerships in the Premier League. It just stops at like 2001 or 2002. It basically once you get through the York, Cole, Van Nistelrooy, that kind of stuff, like it all becomes exactly. It's centre forward plus wingers who score goals. But yeah, it's very interesting thing to see, and I guess there's probably not really there probably hasn't been any ill feeling towards it because how could there be?
No. And he's just getting paid to do what he was doing last week. Now, isn't he, basically? Last week he was in the gym for free. This week he's in the gym for 70, 80 grand.
Yeah, let's hope he just sits off. Fine, there we go. I've done a few videos. Everyone thinks I'm fine. I'll just kick back.
And Man United will get the benefit. I'll get, obviously, the name and number and all that. They'll benefit from that as well. And I'd have signed him at Everton and let him sit there for 4 months and fuck all, and I would have paid him.
I used to do that on Chapman, one of the old Chapmans, when Luis Enrique used to start the season with a cruciate injury, out for 18 months. You sack your physio and sign him, and then bring your physio back just because you could have him on the cheap. It wasn't worth it, like.
What a mental tactic for Championship manager.
I know, yeah.
How deep
player doesn't play.
Yeah.
Not anymore. That was old school. Yeah, I'm not sure you can get away with that in the modern day. You'd probably get sacked for trying to sack too many players. Shocking. Anyway, yeah, thanks very much for watching. It's been interesting. We'll see how Zlatan gets on at Man United later on in the year. If you want to watch more Social Club, you can every single Monday. More often than not live streamed as well, so you can interact with it. youtube.com/Ball Street. Thanks, gents. It's been an absolute pleasure. Subscribe to the channels as well. Toffee TV, Full Time Devils. And of course, the Howson's channel as well. Redmen TV, Mates TV, Ball Street, the whole lot. And we'll see you back for more Social Club soon.